Growing up, sometimes we had money. Most of the times we didn't. For a multitude of reasons, I left home at 15, but wound up homeless 3 times. It was quite possibly the best training I could ever have hoped for. My name is Michael Henderson, Executive Protection Specialist. Over 20 years in the field, 6 to 7 years in law enforcement prior to. Now, I protect human life all over the world. I started out in 6 to 7 different styles of martial arts. Taekwondo, to Aikido, Ninjutsu, Kempo Karate, and then, of course, special weapons training and hostile environment protection. But then that, again, is also separate from the corporate executive protection training, which you would think lumps into one skill set, but my hostile environment training doesn't necessarily fit well in a corporate environment or on vacation necessarily with a high net worth family. So we have to use those skill sets accordingly. The one unequivocal thing that I've learned is the world is a pretty fucked up place, and it's about time you learn how to deal with it. You have to start somewhere. Have you ever been in a government building, taking your family to an iconic American landmark, a baseball game? Have you ever ridden a train? All these locations are targets. I belong to an organization. We focus primarily on what-if scenarios. The way you react to a situation is what's going to save your life. You can no longer position yourself where you are a victim. That's what In Theory is about. That's why we're here. I always start with the tape. Every episode begins with a piece of tape that shows a tragic event planned and plotted by someone wanting to do you harm. Myself and a series of experts break down the event. Who did this? What was their motive? How did the civilians or first responders handle that situation? We call this the assessment. This show is about using that tape, putting you in that scenario so that you learn from it. And so it becomes a positive because you know what to do. We then model it in 3D, and we play out different scenarios in action that could have ended conflict sooner or show how it could escalate into complete chaos. We call this the role play. Next, we immerse ourselves into the conflict using virtual reality. One or more of our experts is forced to navigate the world we have recreated. What did we learn? What did we not? We call this the immersion. We will have takeaway, tips, and tools for the audience to be better prepared and not scared. This is not your typical news show. So why me and why now? It's just humbling to be on these streets right now and just kind of look back at all the years. I mean, you're talking the 40-something years of just getting your ass kicked by everything in this street, in this town, but yet overcoming it.
I've known Michael since he was about 17, 18.
Yeah.
He had a flair about him. He got shot at one time, and he went into a karate stance when a guy come flying at him. I mean, Mike was Michael.
I grew up in rough streets. I've seen domestic abuse. I grew up evolving my life through multitude of stages and overcoming them. St. Louis, man, it has a way of kicking you in the teeth if you let it. I've been all over the world. I've protected people in 70 countries. After 20-something years, I've seen the evolution of security. That's why me, because I'm your motherfucker, really. I didn't want to say that, but you need to know.
Anything can happen anywhere. There is no place where you can say that that's a safe haven. I always say is chess, not checkers, but you know, you got to understand what are the next 3, 4, 5 moves that are going to occur.
I went from a mentality of law enforcement into security. You have to understand that every corner, every block can be something different. I think about where could someone hide? What type of poisons could they put on the door? How do I get out of this hotel if I'm above 8 stories, the height that the fire department's ladders may go to, and all these other wild and crazy scenarios. That is how we prepare ourselves to prevent problems. This show is gonna be so much fun. There's nothing like being put in a situation, one, that you know you're gonna live through, right? But man, the educational component of that is unbelievable. Being able to put our guest in those scenarios over real incidents that have happened will hopefully change everyone's mindset, the audience, as well as the guest, to see like, okay, I need to take this a little more serious. I need to really give this some focus because this is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. I am Michael Henderson, and this is In Theory.